are entering draft select. My apologies for that wait, guys. First band coming through from the side of the boys will be that Udyr. Just another strong champion. I wouldn't, from what we've seen out of Mocha Mexican, couldn't say that this is in his wheelhouse of what he would like to play. But if you leave a powerful pickup like that, I imagine that he would look to play it.
Yeah, I mean, Mocha Mexican has not played Udyr yet, so I mean, that's an interesting ban. There's the Diana, another Mocha Mexican targeted ban. It could also be mid as well.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if from the side of the boys, we're just going to see them just look to the side of Dino Nuggies and say, we think that Mocha Mexican is the person that's keeping your team together, the person that's really getting this train going. And if we just ban him out as the Zed
This is
ban does come through, it looks
uh,
like Vinny
the caster
will,
curse.
yeah, will not be able to have his fun on that. And from the side of Dino Nuggies, it will be the Lulu Malphite and the Mundo banned out, and there it is. Just
There it
like we
is.
talked about, the
Yep,
first pick
there it is.
Galio, get Black Wando on his comfort pick, and good luck in the bot lane.
Yeah, and I mean, wow, misfortune up, and they go ahead and first pick Jinx and Alistar. It looks like they're hovering. I mean, Space Jabberwocky, he has been spamming Jinx in solo queue. He just recently did a 1 to 30 grind, and I mean, it was almost exclusively Jinx. He's very comfortable on this pick, and I think he outranges the Galio for sure.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see what the answer is on the other side. The Alistair Jinx, very strong all in lane, but the Galio is nothing to scoff at. Galio thrives in these all in lanes because he's able to get off the group taunt. As it looks like they will go into the Ashe, and this is just going to be such a hard lane to get anything going with on the Alistair Jinx. Almost every engage they have should be kited back fairly well from the side of the boys. So I do like that bot lane duo. In terms of kill pressure, I would still give it to the Dino Nuggies, but it's just going to be so much harder for them to kill. And for the side of the boys, I doubt you're looking for an all-in without some type of jungle presence.
Yeah, and I mean, the boys right now, I mean, it's looking like a lot of CC. Um, and also, it looks like Dick Long's going to be playing Cho'Gath top again like he did yesterday. And they are beefy. They got a lot of CC, and I would not be surprised if Jinx was forced to take cleanse on the other team, just looking at these picks so far.
Yeah, that cleanse coming through. Lord Dominic's as well, looking like an item that just absolutely needs to be purchased as the victory is banned away. But that was a Lee Sin locked in for Mocha Mexican. While I'm excited to see this, I think Mocha Mexican is going to, be do very well on this pick, and I think it'll be fun to watch. But a part of me was like, if anyone else picked it, we might have had our solo lane Lee Sin. But well, that won't come through today as the Yone will be the next band taken away. Just Vinarvel definitely wanting to go for these more aggro, melee, early game mid laners. So just get these things that might be annoying to deal with for some of the control mages, but a lot of them still up. So really looking forward to see what Get Me Out does pick up here.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it's anything like he has the past week, it's going to be a control mage. I think that's up. They went the Victor and the Azir.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we'll have to see what he throws. Orion is still up. I'm not sure. I'm just based off of the control mages. Orion is still up. We could see that pick out. Let's see what they plan on banning.
yeah, and the Oriana would be really cool here. The with the jungler not locked in, they still have something like a Jarvan or these different tools that can be used as your Galio delivery service, and just to bring that Galio right onto the back line. And
Oh yeah.
so we'll have to see what comes through for that. Definitely something they could play off, as it will be the Renekton locked in for Yokimoto. Yesterday on the Scion, just probably thought he didn't have enough priority, but I'm actually seeing a lot of AD coming out from the side of Dino Nuggy. So I have to believe that this might be a game that we see Vin Arvel perhaps on a control mage, someone that can do a lot of magic damage over the top with the Victor band out for themselves, with the Azir band out and the Malzahar. Well, we'll have to see what they go with, as Iridescent Poro does take the Graves. An early game jungler, not your Galio delivery service, but something that will still be very strong and into this Lee Sin.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Van Arvel, he's going to get the last pick, so he's going to be able to counter pick whatever up, and they're hovering the Oriana. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a control mage, another control mage from Get Me Out. So, I mean, Vin Arvel, he does get a counter pick here into the Oriana. Oriana is a very hard champion to counter pick.
Oh, and he's hovering it. Maybe a little shout out to Showmaker
Yeah,
today.
Showmaker.
I have to
Like to
take a
see it
look.
locked
Yeah,
in.
that's the
There
Xerath
it is.
locked in. I do like the Xerath into this. I think you will be able to get off some pretty good damage against the carries. You know, Graves, Ashe, Orianna, especially if you're doing these before team fights and then looking to engage with the rest of your squad. This team is they're just gonna run straight at you. Other than an Alistar engage, I feel like a lot of what they want to do is going to be off the flank, whereas engage just a lot easier to pull off for the side of the boys.
I mean, the boys, they do have a lot of CC, a lot more than Dino Nuggies. I mean, I think what Dino Nuggies is going to look for is just catching one person getting picks and just chaining the CC that they have, just because they really don't have a lot of AoE CC like the boys do.
Yeah, the boys, showing some priority on this Galio Cho'Gath. This will be the second game for Dick Long on the Cho'Gath. The fourth game coming out of Black Wando on this Galio, and excuse me, just it seems like they have a style very similar to Uncle and the Nephews, as we were talking about earlier. It's tried and true. CC wins games.
Exactly. And I mean, we got Iridescent Poro coming in with the Graves again. He's already picked up one win on Graves, and he's played Fiddle twice as well. So I mean, these are comfort picks. They did try to ban out Get Me Out, but I mean, if you can play Victor and Azir, you can sure as hell play Orianna.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like this guy is going to be so hard to target, so probably why they waited going into the second phase to really try to pinch down on this mid pool. But, very similar to Benjamin Zipper is, at what point are you saying, hey, is it worth it to, try to throw bans at this? And yeah, you can argue that maybe so in the second phase, but with just how deep this guy's champion pool is it is it worth it, man? It's just really what it comes down to.
I mean, in a lot of these amateur leagues, you don't see a lot of players that can play a lot of champions, but not in the ULS. These people can play a lot of stuff extremely proficiently. So it's pretty hard to target ban a lot of the players in these drafts.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how this goes. I do like the mid jungle matchup for the side of the boys more than I do for the side of Dino Nuggies. Xerath is really strong, but Xerath does need to scale up to a point to where he is relevant. And I think that if they're able to capitalize on it, much like we talked about the Victor yesterday, then they will be able to shut this down. But more so from the side of Vinny, I think that he has been someone who, in all of the games he has played, has always been somebody that wants to push the issue and really get things going in the early game. So I'm wondering if he's going to be able to temper himself and really slow down the pace of the game to a speed to where the Xerath will be able to get to those items, get to those level spikes, and be able to do damage. Because this is definitely a different style than we've seen him play so far.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to whether he can hit that stun on Xerath. It's a lot longer range than it looks. And if he hits the stun, you get the Renekton W, you get a Lee Sin Q into an Alistar combo. you are dead. I think it's going to be really important for the boys to be careful with their positioning here, just because they do have, Dino Nuggies do have a lot of catch-out potential.
Yeah, and one thing to follow, Renekton, really easy to set up a dive with them, really easy to gank, because you can just go in the Empower Stun. Should be an easy Resonant Wave coming out of the Lee Sin, should just be able to follow up on that. But, typically you see that more with, like, a Nidalee or an Elise. And we'll have to see if he's able to get that same value out of it with the Lee Sin. And if they're able to really maximize the strength that the Renekton will have in the early game.
Yeah, and I think Yukimoto is really going to have to press his advantage here top, because if he doesn't get a lead early on the Cho'Gath, that Cho'Gath, after he gets that Bramble Vest, I'm assuming that's what he's going to rush. It's going to be hard for their Renekton to make plays top lane.
Right, and even with the Arcane of Xerath skin right out the gates, Vinny came in today knowing that he was going to play. He must have been enjoying MSI today and just said, hey, if Showmaker can do it, it's probably worth doing.
Yeah. No, Vinny's a handsome man. I don't know who's more handsome, Arcane of Xerath or Vinny. It's hard to tell, man.
Yeah, definitely a tough pull coming up from them. And as we load onto the Rift, we already got pings going down. It looks like the boys looking for a cheeky gank up onto this blue buff. Lee Sin looking to start red, so if they catch somebody out here, this might be a little spicy, but they will just be playing point defense, so no way they walk up to them and are able to really close the gap.
Oh, I mean, we could see some chain CC from the boy or the boys right here. I mean, if you get someone with an Ash slow, you basically have to flash. I mean, the slow on Ash, it makes it a lot easier to hit those CC targets like the Cho'Gath Q or the taunt if that's what Galio decides to start.
Yeah, and it looks like the delayed invade will come through. They might find out burst here. Do just go right on him. That is the E-Star. Ash with the W will be able to slow, and that's a flash coming out early. You got to take that, or that is just a kill.
Yeah, no, the boys, I mean, that was really good. They swept it out. They didn't have any coverage. They, I think they started to watch it, but then they sort of backed off a little bit. And I'm really surprised they're not trying to put more pressure on this blue here, but it looks like they're just going to go with the standard red start.
Yeah, just get the red. Do have the ward on it, so they should be able to see that Mocha Mexican is not going to be near or on the blue buff, so we'll have to see if Iridescent Poro does opt in to maybe trying to move in vertical jungle, or maybe just stealing that blue, running straight to his own and trying to deny Mocha 3 quadrants.
Yeah, now we're going to have to wait and see. I think both of these really strong early game junglers, so it's going to be really interesting to see who comes up on top. We have not seen Mocha Mexican on this Lee Sin yet. We've seen him on a lot of carry champions, so I'm sure he's just as comfortable on Lee that he is in the others, but we'll have to wait and see. Lee is pretty difficult to pull off into Graves.
Oh man, and Dick Long really just sitting there and letting the Renekton free hit onto him. Yeah. Takes him down to about 30% health. That was just really unfortunate for him. Almost looked like he disconnected, as we'll see a little engage here in the bot lane. Looks like they tried to line it up with their level 2 power spike, but just missed the minion.
Yeah, I mean, that is not what you want to do as a Cho'Gath. I mean, this lane is about as free as it gets after 5-6 minutes if you do not do that as Cho'Gath. So we'll see if he can bring it back.
Yeah, now Yokimoto already building up a pretty respectable CS lead for himself, but does have a wave that will be crashing into the Cho'Gath. You can see him stacking it there. Iridescent Poro did opt in to go moving up, taking that blue buff, and it looks like he's hovering mid for a gank here. Smoke screen will go a little bit wide. It will just be a trade of damage. He should move down to this Raptor pit. But Mocha Mexican, I think, since with the full clear to his through his top side, might just get denied 3 quadrants. Or it looks like Yokimoto moving down to the blue buff. Oh, but Yokimoto already here. Iridescent Poro does not want this fight. Flashes right onto him. Gets the stun off. Gets the Q off. And that's first blood picked up for this Renekton. And that is exactly the start you want on your top laner.
Oh yeah, no, that's huge. See, I mean, Graves had to blow the flash too, so he's not going to have that. It's going to be really hard for him to put any pressure in the enemy jungle without flash up. And that was just really, really good presence of mind by the Renekton there to collapse on that and make sure you get the W off and chain the CC.
Yeah, and Mocha Mexican moving in now and taking the blue buff away from Iridescent Poro, as he was able to take away Mocha's. So also at Endwell, looks like he actually will just back out, will not finish that off. Interesting enough, does leave the whole quadrant on, so that means essentially, even though they pick up the kill, that gold did go on to Yokimoto, so Mocha Mexican might just be behind in this whole lineup. Is Get Me Out actually hit by the stun? Here comes Mocha Mexican. Get Me Out trying to move around as he can. That will be a lot of damage he takes. Does flash late, but the flash followed by Mocha Mexican. I think Get Me Out just falls here. The pickup coming up from Mocha Mexican, and Get Me Out just holding the flash a little too long there.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised he didn't flash the Lee Sin Q. I'm surprised he didn't flash the stun. But, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, it's going to come down to Vinny hitting those stuns. And so far, he is 2 for 2 from what I've seen. So, he's looking good on the flare so far.
The Iridescent Poro just actually able to get this Scuttle Crab as Galio is here. Does miss the charge up, but he will pick up the kill as they taunt up Mocha Mexican and just take him off the map.
Yeah, no, they got a lot of CC there. I mean, if you get hit by the Galio stun and you don't have flash like you do as Mocha Mexican, I mean, it's going to be tough to get out. I mean, Lee Sin is pretty good with the ward hops, but I mean, I don't think he had anything up there. It was unlucky.
Yeah, and we see a trade just go heavily in the favor of Yokimoto here in the top side. This Renekton is just absolutely massive. Actually hasn't even gotten off his base yet. Just got those buffs and decided to sit in the top lane. Does have teleport, just maybe trying to hit an item spike before he goes back. Perhaps the Iron Spike Whip or something like that. Perhaps even the Merc treads, but I mean, doing very well for himself, just staying in this lane and just there you go again, another great trade. One more of those, and Dick Long just falls here.
Yeah, no, this is a tough matchup for the Cho'Gath. I mean, he does still have both summoners and he has TP, but I mean, he is playing with fire by not resetting.
Yeah, and Iridescent Poro is on this side of the map now, able to pick up the camps that Mocha Mexican just left for him. Really surprising that that ended up happening, but just maybe a little bit of respect with the collapse coming out from the Cho'Gath and the Orianna. But with those picked up, he will have a little bit of lead, or actually still be behind roughly about 300 gold. Remember, Mocha Mexican was able to pick up that kill on To Get Me Out. So that kill really carrying a lot of the weight. But as far as CS goes, Dick Long just walking right back up again. Not figuring out the Renekton just wins those trades, and he has to wait for that wave to crash.
I mean, Cho'Gath does have the sustain, but it's just only a matter of time until the jungler comes. And oh, here we go, we gotta fight.
Yeah, and here comes Iridescent, but Renekton already has the 6, means that the Dominus will just pop with those Fury stacks. I do not think they could take it. Iridescent Poro only level 4, Dick Long level 6, but with less than 200 health, means that they will just have to back off. And Yokimoto in full control of this top side.
Oh man, Z, I mean, this Renekton, he just pops the Dominus and says, you know, come at me. I'll 1v2. I don't care how many people are up there. I mean, level 6 Renekton is you got your work cut out for you when you're ganking that, and we got the dive.
Oh man, and Dick Long just goes down. Yokimoto able to get that off, doesn't even need the Dominus. I don't know if Iridescent Poro wins, is actually looking pretty damn good. One more auto might do it, and able to pick up the shutdown. And you might just have to question, you know, Yokimoto just doing a lot there off of, you know, an advantage he had built, but gold does nothing in your pockets.
Yeah, I mean, he was still sitting on the Doran's Blade there, Z. I mean, look at him now. You know, he's got plated steel caps and the Iron Spike Whip. I mean, he could have backed and had a lot, but I mean, I think he was feeling himself. I think he didn't still expect Graves to be topside, and he got punished for it.
Yeah, and you know, shout out to Yokimoto, looking really good on this Renekton. A nice change-up coming over from these tankier picks that you know, you're really just looking to team fight with, but showing that he does have the ability to generate his own pressure and his own leads given one of these carry picks.
Yeah, no, he's been playing Kled, he's been playing Gnar, he's been playing Scion, so I mean, it's looking like they're trying to give him a little more autonomy in this lane so he can kind of choose his own destiny, trying to see if he can pressure out the Cho'Gath with a more aggressive pick.
Yeah, and even with that early death now, Get Me Out still up about a wave and a half, 10 CS up on this Xerath here that Vinny is piloting. Able to build up quite a bit of a lead. Did have to burn the TP when he did die earlier, which is the reason why he didn't lose as much CS, but doing well for himself in a lane that's been under quite a bit of pressure from this Lee Sin. As actually the Shockwave does come down, nearsided by the Graves, and the flash is already used. Iridescent Poro with a collateral damage takes his life. And that is another kill going over to the Graves.
Yeah, no, I mean, even with Vinnerval blowing flash, I mean, he still goes down. That Xerath is real squishy early, especially if you got both ults on you like that.
And this is that early game we were talking about. You know, it's a different style that Vinny's used to, and you know, he has looked good. Was able to lock up the stun to get the first kill on to Get Me Out. But as actually the wave, resonated wave does land for the Lee Sin, should be able to just get out of there as Yokimoto does come in with the Dominus pop. Remember, no Shockwave, but Yokimoto might have buttoned off more than he could chew. Lee Sin going right back in, but did he want that damage? I don't think he did. Able to just ward hop back out to the to Vinarvel, who does get back to lane. The Ash Arrow, Enchanted Arrow, goes a little wide there at the end, but I don't believe they would have wanted to follow up on that regardless. But a pretty good exchange in the mid lane. Does get out, or excuse me, doesn't get out any flashes.
Oh yeah, I mean, Dino Nuggies looked a little discombobulated there. They were not on the same page. You know, I think if they really synchronized those engages a bit more, I think the boys would have been done for. But I mean, Renekton, or Yokimoto and Moki Mexican just not on the same page there, unfortunately.
Yeah, one looking to go in, one looking to go out, and then just decided to flip-flop as soon as the other decided to run out. So, like you're saying, yeah, exactly. As Mr. Action might be caught out here, does have to burn the flash.
Yeah, no, that was a good flash. I mean, if that W goes through, then he's up against the wall, and then it chain CCs with that pulverize, and I mean, that would have been a dead Ash.
Yeah, able to just pair the Chompers with that. But looking at this bot lane, actually another pretty big CS lead blooming here, just short of 20 gold, 20 CS, sitting at that now 15, 13 now. It looks like it is, but 2 waves down. Resonant Wave does land, but they will not follow up on it. Yokimoto did use a TP to come around the bot side. But this should just be a dragon secured as it is the 5v5. Dick Long does have his ultimate as well. We'll see if his teleport as well. Let's see if he uses it to match. Yokimoto might... Oh, the flash right in onto Mr. Action. Remember, he just used that to get away from the Alistar, and that is locked up. The Galliolti coming through, but it is too little, too late, as he falls on the backside. Black Wando looking to chase Yokimoto out of the fight, but the rest of the team might have needed him, as Dick Long here now will just go down. The Shockwave does land onto 2 to keep people back. Black Wando, not enough damage, falls to space. Jabberwocky zap on the backside. Iridescent Poro running for his life, is able to use the E to get out of that one. Oh, Mocha Mexican just barely staying alive there. The flash forward coming out from Space Jabberwocky. And Get Me Out is on the other side. A little low on mana, but Command Q would kill Mocha Mexican now, but I believe this just has to be the dragon.
Oh man, what an engage by Burst there with the Alistar combined with the flash W from Renekton. I mean, that was about as good as it gets. You know, the Galio ult couldn't save him. It was a little late. I think if Galio ulted right away, maybe he could have gotten the knockup before, but I mean, it was close. And I mean, Space Jabberwocky on the Jinx there, getting damage on the whole entire fight. He was not touched until the shockwave at the end there, and by that time it was just too late.
Yeah, really well played coming out from the side of Dino Nuggies, picking up that dragon and opening up a 2,000 gold lead right now. I believe the largest lead we've seen them have at this 10 to 15 minute mark, so well on them.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see what Dino Nuggets can do with this lead, you know. This is not something they're used to, so I mean, it's going to be whether or not they can keep it up or even press it even further. And we got Renekton chasing down Cho'Gath in top lane.
Yeah, able to get the stun, not the empowered stun, so that won't be too much. Does have to flash. A little worried about that ward kick from Lee Sin. Actually was down, so I don't believe they actually had kill pressure there, but Dick Long just respecting that this Renekton is huge, and anybody else in the lane, he gets a little worried.
Yeah, I mean, you just know that the boys are just telling Dick Long right now, hey, we can carry, just play safe, do not let this Renekton get any more kills. So, I mean, he's doing his best to be a rock for his team in the top side here.
Right, you know, just trade after trade, you know, actually just going in favor. The Rupture does go wide here, and actually Dick Long getting the better of that one. Gotta remember that Renekton will be able to just Q, especially with that rage stacked up, heal quite a bit of that back, but well on Dick Long to get that trade-off. Does miss the Pharaoh Scream there, and you got to be careful. Yokimoto does have the Dominus. The Rupture goes wide. He might be baiting him out as the Xerath ulti does come down. Iridescent Poro there, and the Shockwave from Get Me Out will help pick up that kill on the backside. Mocha Mexican might be in trouble here, but able to use the Dragon's Kick to get him away, and the Flash follow into the Command Q. And the command move will pick up that kill for him. Vinarvel does have to get away as the Enchanted Arrow again goes wide.
Oh man, Z. I mean, this Cho'Gath is almost at that point where it does not matter how ahead that Renekton is. He is just a tanky boy, and he doesn't even have a completed item yet. He's just sitting on components. So I mean, even though Dick Long is 0-3, I mean, it's gonna be tough for Dino Nuggies to deal with him in a little bit here.
Right, and the Rift Herald was dropped top lane, but no plates means that this will just lead to a first tower. That extra 100 gold is nice to have for sure, but you know, definitely something you look to try to get to with that true damage, get some plates off, get some gold back into your team's pockets, but you get the shutdown onto the Renekton, you get the kill onto the Xerath, or onto the Lee Sin, and you get first tower. All in all, a good positive for the side of the boys, and they do cut this gold lead down to just 500.
Yeah, I mean, the top side of the map has just been slugging it out, and meanwhile, Z, I mean, we've had games like this. Bot lane, we are just chilling, we are farming, and we are just waiting for the dragons to fight. And I mean, they are neck and neck in CS. I think it's 109 to 109. So it's really going to be a battle of scaling here. And honestly, I think Jinx wins that battle.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This Ashe definitely going to be more utility to try to keep the Graves and the Orianna onto the enemy team. But in terms of just raw damage, this Jinx is going to be an absolute menace to deal with. And you pair Xerath, that's going to be out of range of anybody on the side of the boys, just raining down damage. Some of these team fights can get a little difficult as we might have a fight over this red buff. The bot lane does roam over. The charge actually gets stopped as Galio hit the wall. Mr. Action does have to flash. Enchanted Arrow is up, but will not use his Black Wando, uses the Blast Plant to get over the wall.
Oh man, that Alistar just, I mean, he doesn't care if there's two people there. He went right in. He knows what he can do. I mean, with his ultimate up, he does not take damage, especially with an Ashe with not even an item completed.
Yeah, and looking for a potential pick in the mid lane here. The Enchanted Arrow was used, but does go wide again. Mr. Action just looking for any action on this Crystal Arrow, as it's been the only one at the party every time.
Yeah, I mean, see, you miss every shot you don't take, so I mean, he is bending those arrows.
Yeah, and I love it as Yokimoto.
How much is it going to be when he hits one?
Exactly. We're just going to absolutely lose it. And, you know, depending on the situation, could come out at a fairly needy time. Mr. Action still on the map now, pretty low, not going to really be able to step up and farm, but Dragon is up in under a minute, and this is an objective your team is going to want to be fighting for. So Back's now finally coming through. We'll have to see if these channels are a little late. That will give Dino Nuggies more priority in this river. They do have a lot of great vision down as Yokimoto looking for a play, able to just slice and dice his way right back out of that. And this Renekton is just disgusting, this game.
Yeah, no, I mean, that Stride Breaker combined with the Slice and Dice, I mean, he can close a lot of space to chain that CC. So I think it's going to really be on him, and it's going to be on that Lee Sin looking for the Resonating Strike to see if they can make an engage on Dino Nuggies here. Or the boys, sorry.
No, you're fine. We only have 4 teams, and I still somehow can't keep my head around who's who. Dicklong sitting on a control ward, but this is the problem with those delayed bases. Like we were saying, they now have to come in, they have to face check. They're looking for the Xerath, they're looking for the Renekton. Where are they going? Renekton does have a pretty good flank opportunity as they just let the boys move up. Remember, they have a choke at them. The Graves is able to pick up the Dragon. Mocha Mexican does go down on the backside of that, and Black Wando is able to pick that up. Yokimoto dashing in and dashing right back out as he does not do any damage, and Burst is just going to get bursted down. Alistar ulti, be damned. And that is 3 kills and a Dragon picked up from the boys as it looks like the game is swinging back into their favor.
Oh man, Z, I am really surprised here that the bot lane Space Jabberwocky did not reset. He was sitting on a lot of gold, and I mean, I think the difference there was that Ashe had completed her mythic item and Jinx didn't. If she would have had that Kraken Slay, that would have been big damage. That would have been huge damage. But I mean, also, again, I mean, they're Renekton. He is huge, but I mean, they just don't have follow-up when he's in there. He was 2v5 with the Alistar, and I mean, you can only tank so many people with this one-item Renekton.
Yeah, and that's just really tough because he is this big focal point. But I mean, this is where the Lee Sin pick, now we're going to see the finesse that Mocha Mexican has with it, because in order to get value out of this Lee Sin, you're looking for things like the hook, or the kick, my apologies. You're looking for these creative engages, way to get onto the enemy backline. And, you know, here's Black Wando again with this Galio pick, essentially negating another comp that wants to dive onto the backline. You have too many pieces in the Galio, in the Cho'Gath, that are going to be able to keep this Lee Sin off of the team, and Mocha Mexican is going to have to find a more creative flank, because running right at the team, you know, it's not going to work. If it's too telegraphed, they're going to be able to get out. As Get Me Out is actually caught out, does drop the shockwave, but will just go down as Mocha Mexican finding himself a kill on the backside of that.
Man, that Eclipse one-item Lee Sin, I mean, that's a lot of damage. If he hits you with your combo and you're less than half health, you are dead. See, I don't care how fed you are on Orianna.
And just really tough, and Mocha Mexican's ears must have been burning. Said, if you want to see a play, I will go out and I will get a kill.
We got a little skirmishing in the bot lane here. I mean, both AD carries, they just don't have enough damage right now to really do much against these tanky supports like Galio, like the Alistar. So, I mean, it may look like they're trading, but I mean, they're literally just shooting things at each other right now.
Yeah, I mean, as an AD, you know, we scale. And, you know, something I actually want to note here, missed that. I believe you even brought it up, but the Ashe did elect to go for the Gale Force over the Kraken Slayer that I typically see on this pick. Looking at the enemy team, I feel like, you know, maybe your reasoning is Gale Force out of Alley combo, or Gale Force, Gale forcing the Xerath engage, Gale forcing a Sonic Wave from the Lee Sin, or out of range. So I guess you do get a value out of this, but this looks like it's more of going to be used for positional gain than it will be for the execute.
Yeah, no, I agree. Honestly, I do like the Gale Force here on Ashe. I typically don't go Gale Force on Ashe, but I think it's good here. I think you can Gale Force out of the Xerath stun. I think having a dash against their Renekton with 3 dashes is really helpful. And I mean, I don't think you'll need damage because so far, I mean, it looks like they're locking up Infernal Foam. We got to fight in the top.
Yeah, and this is looking tough. The Dominus is popped, and Dick Long just sitting here eating the minions, eating just about every ranged ability. But look at this. Oh. Yeah, the feast comes down, and Renekton, the early game is over. Your time to shine is done.
Yeah, I mean, Dick Long is looking hungry in the top lane. I mean, he's got his item completed. He's got the Bramble, and I mean, he just ate that crocodile for dinner. See?
Yeah, you know, I've only had crocodile once, but oh no, I believe it was actually alligator. You know, believe it or not, tastes like chicken. But I wonder if Dick Long's thinking the same thing up there as he did feast him down.
You know what,
oh, with the shockwave going through and the Graves going in with the collateral damage, red buff might be enough, and he is able to pick that up on the last auto attack. Great shockwave coming through. The flash from Vinarvel means nothing yet again.
Oh man, I mean, I see Vinarvel's got wards too. It's just when you're playing a squishy champion like Xerath, I mean, if you get hit by a shockwave and Graves is in your lane, you are dead in the water. It's gonna be tough, and I mean, maybe he'll get a stopwatch here soon. Maybe he'll be able to, you know, kind of negate some of that damage. But I mean, it's gonna be tough coming back from that when they are just on your ass all the time, hitting you with shockwaves, hitting you with collateral damages. I mean, it's gonna be tough.
Oh man, flattery will get you nowhere, Trilogen, as we do see an engage coming on by Burst. Burst will just be knocked up by the Galio, should be able to disengage. Another enchanted arrow reaching for the sky, and it will continue that way. The Rupture will find both carriers here as the Galio does go back in, should have the taunt up pretty soon here, and excuse me, Space Jabberwocky does just go down on the back end of that. Now their eyes are on Burst. The Burst ultimate is down as Mr. Action is able to pick up that kill. Dick Long just sitting on the backside holding off 5 members. Mocha Mexican has to use the Dragon's Kick just to try to get Mr. Action out of the fight. Warhops over the wall, able to find a pick onto the backside, but Mocha Mexican will be picked up by the Shockwave. Vinarvel, remember, he has no flash. The Rupture will knock him up, and he will go down. Iridescent Portal, get me out. Looking for a chance, looking for a smidgen. Mocha Mexican trying to do what he can, but he is caught on the wrong side of the wall, the wrong side of the rift, the wrong side of the team, as Dragon is up, and this will be sole point for the boys.
Oh, man, that was a big 5-for-1 team fight for the boys, only dropping Ashe there, and I mean, get me out on the Orianna. He was just hanging on by the hair on his chinny chin chin there. And I mean, while you were paying attention to all the fight into the turret, I literally just watched Dick Long in this Cho'Gath 3v1. He was just standing there absorbing damage. That Xerath was hitting him with everything. That Lee Sin was attacking him with everything. I mean, this man is not taking damage, and he doesn't have 2 items yet.
Yeah, and you know, remind me if I am wrong, but I believe that the Dragon Rage kit does actually work the same as Set Ultimate, to where the more health the enemy champion that you kick has, it will do bonus damage to everyone it hits. I feel like you just get the Cho'Gath out of the way. He had the chance to kick him into the team, and you give the rest of your team an opportunity to step up and actually do damage, because most of this fight, like you're saying, 3 people on this Cho'Gath means nothing.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. I mean, they have to either get him out of the fight or they need to burn him down before the rest of the team can follow up. And I mean, right now, I mean, it's looking just like item disadvantages almost all across the board now. So it's going to be real tough for Dino Nuggies to bring it back here.
Yeah, and just taking a look at some of the gold numbers, you know, 1,800 gold lead in the mid lane. Dick Long is actually up 200 gold after that really rough early game coming out from him. Iridescent Poro sitting at only 5 as Burst does go in. Renekton does go over the wall. They do have Dick Long stunned out, but it means nothing because Orianna is able to pick up the Jinx on the backside, and Yokimoto goes down, and this fight is going in shambles for the side of Dino Nuggies. Just too many fronts and not enough tracking of things like the Orianna ball.
Man, that Orianna shockwave just completely deleted that Jinx off of the map. I mean, the Space Jabberwocky, he's going to have to flash that next time, right? He's not going to be able to play the game.
Yeah, this Orianna absolutely massive in this game, sitting on 2 items. You know, this Jinx has her 1.5 items sitting on the Zeal. Looks like she is going for that Phantom Dancer next, but just losing to the gold sacks right now as Mocha Mexican will try to make a move. The smite goes down a little early. The ultimate from the Jinx does nothing. Yes, he gets the shutdown on Dick Long, but for the boys, you get the Baron and you get an extra kill.
Yeah, I mean, they got the Baron on 4 people, and I mean, Mocha Mexican comes in, he gets a nice little 900 gold payout, but I mean, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. They got a 6k gold lead, 25 minutes, soul point. I wouldn't, oh, you got
oh man, Iridescent Poro just caught out here. We'll be able to be locked up by the Alistair, but they need to be careful. This Jinx might be in trouble. He might pick up Space Jabberwocky on the backside. Iridescent Poro had no business being in the enemy jungle there. The rest of his team had already reset, but the fact that he was able to find a kill in a 2v1 situation is just heartbreak for the side of Dino Nuggies.
Oh man, Z, I'm telling you, that smoke screen by Graves there, that was ridiculous. The Jinx could not see anything. He had some smoke in his eyes, and I swear to God, as an AD carry, that might be one of the most frustrating things ever, when you get smoke screen when he's 1 health and then you die.
Yeah, I mean, all we do is auto attack, right? Very few other champions actually have things you can do outside of that. It's just autos and empowered autos, really, and when you take away the only thing we can do, we're raging at the keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we'll see if they can press the advantage here. They still have Baron, probably.
Mocha Mexican might be caught up. Silence, and there it is! The enchanted crystal arrow finally finds its mark as Mocha Mexican goes down in the top jungle.
Man, I do not think Dick Long ate breakfast before this game, Z, because my God, he is just eating everything on the map, and I mean, this is a big Cho'Gath, but it looks like we're getting counter engage here.
Yeah, and the Renekton does pop the dominance, but here comes the Cho'Gath. So look at that, the Cho'Gath, the Galio just able to tank anything. They could keep going under this tower. Dick Long sitting there, wondering where the damage is coming from. Is your tower turned off? Did a Volibear ult come out from somewhere?
I mean, this is just ridiculous. He's only sitting at 2 items. I mean, it is the Turbo Kim tank and the Thornmail, but I mean, it does not look like they have an answer for this Cho'Gath quite yet, Z.
Yeah, and you know, going for this Phantom Dancer second item is got to be a little tough because you need something. And look, these tanks can just dive with reckless abandon. There's just not enough damage. As Burst does try to go in, will pop the Unbreakable and try to get out. But even with the ultimate, actually able to walk out. But Yokimoto in with just himself, trying to get on these carries. But there is no other damage. Nobody is following the Renekton trying to get to these backline space. Jabberwocky, much just goes down. Mr. Action able to flash that, and that's another enchanted crystal arrow going out to his favorite fan in the stands. Ooh. As Iridescent Poro styles on Mocha Mexican, combos him down to pick up another kill.
Man, I'm telling you, the top map.
Oh, excuse me. I just looked away for a second as Vinar Bell is able to pick up a kill onto Mr. Action with that ultimate. And, you know, great kill on the backside, but you got to wonder where are these Xerath ultimates when you have your Renekton diving the backlane. Where's this additional pressure coming in as the side of the boys are able to just move down after that great Baron buff, picked up 2 inhibs off that, move right down to Infernal for this Infernal Soul.
Yeah, I mean, this Infernal Soul is big, Z. I mean, even though we got Chris Kyle on the Xerath, I mean, I don't know if Chris Kyle on Xerath is going to be able to compete with this Infernal Soul like that. I mean, you see Get Me Out. We talked about it before the game on these control mages. I mean, he is a force to be reckoned with. The fight before, the last one, completely one-shot the Jinx. This fight, ults Vinervel on the Xerath, and I mean, he gets completely taken out of the fight.
Yeah, just the inability to really be able to do anything. Get Me Out just with the eye to find these different champions and catch their carries. Caught out time and time again. And now this game is just getting, you know, completely ridiculous. Orianna with that level 3 shockwave. Binarbell's only level 14. That's the same level as their jungle. Same level as their top. And on the side of the boys, you know, they're just starting to outpace the side of Dino Nuggies and just starve them out of everything.
Yeah, I mean, AK gold lead, Z, I'm not saying it's done and over with, but it's looking pretty bad for them. They're going to have to find a way to delay this game. And I mean, they do have a Xerath in the mid lane. That's about as good wave clear as they get. You know, maybe if they do something with the Baron fight, maybe if they get a Miracle Baron, they can stop the siege. But I mean, it's going to be tough because it looks like the boys are pressing the issue right now in the top side jungle.
Yeah, and I mean, with that, moving up for a Baron, the problem is, if I'm on the side of the boys, do I even need a Baron to end the game at this point? You have just these two absolutely massive tanks running forward into their team with reckless abandon. There's nobody in the game right now that could do anything against them as Black Wandell looking for the flank, and that's going to be a great taunt. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow will not land onto the Jinx, but that is Yokimoto and Burrs having to take it up so that their carrier is able to peel back, and without these frontline tools, you have to believe there's no way they will be able to fend off this push.
Man, I think that turret is just as good as a Soraka right now. Just pressing W on that Cho'Gath. Oh, we got flash forward.
Yeah, and that's Vin Arvel going down too. Mocha Mexican trying to do his best to try to keep everybody off. Does have the Dragon Rage kick. Cannot kick Black Wandell into the Nexus, and that will be the flash to get himself out to safety. Thought he might have gone just a little too deep there. 3 inhibs down means that this is going to be double super minions spawning in, but double super minions won't even be able to see the Nexus as the second Nexus tower does go down, and now they just one kill. Looking to pad those stats as they stay on the tower, and Mr. Action says, no more action. Get me out of this game. And that is the boys improving to 3-1 on the season.
Man, the boys looking real good there, I'm telling you. I mean, we talked about it beforehand, but I mean, Get Me Out, Iridescent, and Dick Long. I mean, not to discount their bot lane played well, but that top side of the map is looking scary, Z.
Yeah, and I mean, really good game from the side of the boys. Able to stay just one game behind first place, but just to really touch on what we saw from the side of Dino Nuggies, you know, still improvements. We saw them play really well through their top side, able to get this lead for the Renekton, but just not able to put all the pieces that they had drafted together past that early game lead that they found. And, you know, the side of the boys, slow and controlled as we always see. You know, Get Me Out, such just a stalwart on this team of, you know, yeah, he goes down early. Mocha Mexican able to pick up those kills. Mocha Mexican actually able to find a lot of these pickup kills on just backs where Get Me Out just did not see him coming or just did not envision, perhaps even opening the shop. So really, really kudos to him. But Get Me Out, I feel like just watching it, I can hear him saying in the game, like, hey, we got this. We just play slow. We're just going to be looking for these big shockwaves in team fights, and able to slow the game down when they were behind and crawl their way back in to get the victory.
Yeah, no, I mean, Get Me Out's just the type of player you want on your team. You know, it seems like he's about as consistent as he gets on these control mages. I mean, he really does. If he's behind, he just chills, clears waves, says, hey, guys, like, give me 10 minutes. I'll have another item. We'll be fine. And if not, he's like, hey, I'm going to flash Shockwave and kill everybody. Let's go in.
Yeah, just an absolutely smurf game coming out of Get Me Out in that one. And really someone else to not just not frowned upon would be Iridescent Poro. Absolutely monstrous on this Graves. 10-2-10. Just completely took over the game on this pick. I actually saw him play this into them the first time, and this was the game where Mocha Mexican, though behind, was still able to get stuff going, was still able to stay relevant, still actually held within 200 gold from Iridescent Poro, but a lot cleaner of a game from Iridescent, and really just once he found that lead, just had no problem pressing the issue into the enemy team and the enemy jungle.
Yeah, I mean, Dino Nuggies, they looked good, though. I mean, they tried to stay in it. I think once Dino Nuggies finds their identity as a team and they really get their pick band down, I think they might be a contender. But I mean, until then, I mean, it's gonna be rough. They need to start picking, you know, more coherent picks, trying to work on their early game a bit more. And I mean, they just need to wait for their items to fight. They just need to. I mean, if you have a Jinx on just the Noon Quiver, I mean, you cannot fight Nash with the Gale Force, and I think that is where the game really just went out of control.
Exactly. It's really just tough for the side of Dino Nuggies, now sitting at 0-4. Like we've said, this is the first game into our second round robin. Definitely nowhere near over. A lot of these games are really just about finding what style fits you, finding what you think is going to work, because once we hit playoffs, it's just, first versus fourth, second versus third, and then it's just what can we take away from the season? What have we seen them do? What's on the table? And right now they would be matching up against Uncle and the Nephews, but we still have 2 more weeks of the ULS, so Don't want to sit here and act like everything's set in stone as far as ranking wise goes, and I'll just be interested to see if they are able to find a style, are able to find a pace that everyone can match, and take these early game leads and push them through to a victory.
Yeah, I mean, some of these top tier teams, nerves might get to them. They might be exposed for being one dimensional. I mean, we've seen even some of these top teams like Uncle T and the Neffs and the Boys. I mean, they've played the same stuff basically every single time. Like, like someone needs to take advantage of that. I mean, Dino Nuggies and Unicorns at this point, I mean, they don't have much to lose. They can go balls to the wall. They can try out something new. I mean, everything's still up in the air.
Right, and